Marvel Comics officially declares Aunt May Parker and Otto Octavius to be the hottest couple in comics. Doc Ock and Aunt May met in 1964's Amazing Spider-Man Annual No. 1, by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Sam Rosen. The two later started dating and nearly got married in Amazing Spider-Man No. 130 and No. 13. The particularly bizarre relationship has remained something of a controversial coupling over the years. At the start of the current Beyond arc of Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker was injured in a battle with the UFOs. Ben Reilly stepped up to take on the mantle of Spider-Man in Peter's place, as the lingering effects of the battle have kept the original wall crawler on death's door. In Amazing Spider-Man No. 80, May decided to take matters into her own hands and sought out Doc Ock to help her find out how to help Peter. Amazing Spider-Man No. 80 Bay, the cover for which calls them the hottest couple in comics, sees May and Doc Ock going to the university where Peter was injured to get clues as to just what's going on. Otto continually flirts with May, but she remains focused on helping Peter. Eventually, Otto does find out some interesting information, discovering traces of a rare air pollutant found only in the industrial district, as well as a very specific type of radiation. Official description for Amazing Spider-Man No. 80 Bay. With her nephew at death's door, May Parker is not just going to sit around accepting that Peter's ailments aren't solvable with conventional means. Aunt May is going to seek unconventional means by way of her ex-fiancé Dr. Octopus. One of the most controversial couples in comics history is back together, and they're Peter Parker's only hope of living through Beyond. A new era for The Dark Knight begins in December 7's Batman No. 118. He's leaving his hometown of Gotham City, and doing it with an all-new creative team for his titular book. Writer Joshua Williamson and artist Jorge Molina will be taking over from the Batman title's current creative team just after the finale of the current Fear State event, which will spell out how and why Bruce Wayne has decided to leave Gotham City. Yeah, he's leaving Gotham. After Fear State, he has a plan to leave for certain reasons. And then he's hesitant. He has a moment where he's hesitant to leave. And then something happens and it's a mission he has to go on, it's a case, and he's like, I have to leave, Williamson told the Comic Speed. And so he leaves to take care of that case. And he leaves Gotham in the hands of other people, and there's a big story next year about that, about what's going on in Gotham while he's gone. But then I get to do a bunch of stories with him outside of Gotham for a bit. A key part of that case will be a major new DC villain called the Abyss. Williamson says that this antagonist knows how to use the darkness to manipulate and scare people just as Batman is prone to do, but more. I think people will be surprised the direction the stuff with the Abyss goes, Williamson says. He's only in number 118 a little bit and then he'll be in 119, 120, 121, but I think people will be surprised with the way he's introduced. It will be kind of a surprising thing. But yeah, he uses darkness as a tool. Not like a shadow thief kind of way, you'll see when we're getting in there. It's a different way. Official description for Batman No. 118. New creative team. Start of a new story arc as Batman leaves Gotham. Abyss Part 1. As Gotham celebrates surviving Fear State, Batman retreats alone into the darkness. But when he learns of a mystery involving Batman Incorporated, it forces the Caped Crusader to leave Gotham for a brand new adventure. Thrills, chills, and international intrigue await. The Dark Knight begins a new story with superstar artist Jorge Molina and new writer Joshua Williamson. A preview for Batman 89 No. 4 shows Robin, a mechanic named Drake in this universe, scoping out an upcoming protest in Burnside, one of Gotham's lower-income neighborhoods. As demonstrators gather to march towards City Hall, protesting the arson that destroyed a Burnside storefront and grievously injured Harvey Dent in issue number 3, they are confronted with a line of riot police led by Harvey Bullock, who's less than sympathetic towards their cause. Luckily, Drake is there to drop a bag full of paint on the police vehicles and provide the protesters with spray cans, which they quickly use to communicate their grievances. As Commissioner Gordon arrives on the scene to chew out Bullock, Drake debuts his official Robin suit and looks at the chaos from a rooftop, murmuring, "That's what happens when you come into my house." Batman 89 thus far has picked up story threads from 1989's Batman and 1992's Batman Returns, presenting a look at what could have been a potential third entry in Burton's franchise if he had remained in the director's chair. The Robin presented here is roughly inspired by early drafts of Batman Returns, which featured Marlon Wayans playing the Boy Wonder. After Wayans was cut from the script, Burton reportedly hoped to present him as Batman's sidekick in the third entry in the series, but plans changed. The third Batman film ultimately became Batman Forever, with Joel Schumacher serving as director and Chris O'Donnell playing the part of Robin. Batman 89 number 4. Someone's hot on Bruce Wayne's heels, out to prove his connection to Batman once and for all. Meanwhile, Harvey Dent plans his next steps for Gotham with just the simple flip of a coin. What does he have in store for Gotham, and can Batman twist probability in his favor? Iron Man and Captain America are called in to apprehend a costumed criminal who was charged with killing 3 people. The twist is that it's a one-time hero, 51, who was part of Iron Man's post-Civil War 50-state initiative. The 50-state initiative was a plan to have a superhero team for each of the 50 U.S. states. 51 was a recruit into Texas's Rangers team, which included Firebird, Phantom Rider, Red Wolf, Shooting Star Texas Twister, Living Lightning, and Armadillo. 51 and the Rangers haven't been seen much since 2013's Scarlet Spider number 7, number 9 where he debuted and joined the team, but apparently, in the interim, he has gone rogue, killed some people in Minneapolis, and has hooked up with a group of hooded terrorists. Written by Derek Landy with art from Angel Unzueta, Captain America Iron Man focuses on a new Hydra villain with connections to both heroes, who go on the hunt for the mysterious agent when she breaks out of prison. The as yet unnamed agent appears briefly in this preview in the prison jumpsuit, but isn't identified. This won't be the first title Captain America and Iron Man have shared, though it is their first team-up title as a pair. Back in the 60s when Captain America was brought into the modern Marvel Universe, he and Iron Man both appeared in Marvel's Tales of Suspense title, with the heroes receiving their own separate stories in each issue. Their adventures were split into 2 titles a few years later, with Iron Man moving to a new solo ongoing series, and Tales of Suspense being renamed as Captain America while retaining the same numbering. In fact, it's those classic stories that inspired writer Landy to create the story at the heart of Captain America Iron Man. Ever since the pandemic hit, I've been making my way through the old Marvel omnibuses, reading all the stories from the 60s that I'd only heard about absorbed through osmosis, with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark being uppermost on the reading pile, Landy states in Marvel's announcement. Little did I know that this was actually a prolonged bout of diligent and thorough research for which I should be roundly admired, nay lauded, he jokes. The opportunity to write these characters is as daunting as it is thrilling, but with Angel Unzueta on art duties, I'm reassured that it'll at least look gorgeous. Unzueta himself states that Captain America and Iron Man are his 2 favorite Marvel characters and that working with Landy has given him plenty of room to stretch his muscles as an artist and live up to his own admiration for the characters. The one-shot is one of many tie-ins spinning out of the 5-part Death of Doctor Strange limited series by Jed MacKay and Lee Garbett, which chronicles the demise of the Sorcerer Supreme and the consequences thereof. Preview for Death of Doctor Strange, Blade number 1 depicts a Ray being attended by a group of vampires cosplaying as various Marvel superheroes, which is being held at a warehouse in the abandoned town of Pripyat, not far from Chernobyl. As the vamps celebrate the death of Doctor Strange, they are showered with blood coming from the sprinklers above them. Blade, meanwhile, is also in attendance, though he is mourning Strange's death, not celebrating it. The Daywalker sulks off to the side as he simply lets the blood cover him as well. This sequence is a direct callback to the opening action scene from director Stephen Norrington's Blade, which sees Blade crash a Ray being attended by a horde of vampires at a nightclub owned by Deacon Frost. Just like in the comic, the partying vampires in the movie are being showered with blood from the ceiling. The key difference, though, is that Snipes' Blade takes a far more violent approach to dealing with the undead ravers right off the bat. Official description for Death of Doctor Strange, Blade number 1. A long time ago, Doctor Strange destroyed every vampire in the world with one spell, including Dracula. Now, with Strange dead, Dracula's vampire nation celebrates. That doesn't sit too well with Strange's old friend, and new vampire nation sheriff, Blade the Vampire Hunter. But what happens when interlopers from another dimension invade the vamps' territory and put all the bloodsuckers' lives at risk? Will Blade do his duty to protect them? Or will he help make sure the vamps stay wiped out this time? Devil's Reign number 1 features Wilson Fisk ruminating on the many reasons he's hated the Man Without Fear. Chief among these is what Fisk perceives as Daredevil's hypocrisy, the tendency of Matt to put on airs of a saint tasked with succumbing to violence when he really isn't as holy as he appears. As Fisk thinks on Daredevil's tendencies, he confronts his nemesis in the streets of Hell's Kitchen, accusing him of tampering with files that contained Matt's secret identity. After Daredevil taunts Fisk, the Kingpin decides to use his power as mayor of New York City to target all masked individuals, effectively outlawing them throughout the metropolis. Official description for Devil's Reign number 1. The story that's been building for years is here. Wilson Fisk went from Kingpin to mayor of the biggest city in America and is going to bring his full criminal and political power to bear on the superheroes who call NYC home. The man who once destroyed Daredevil has set his sights on the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage and more. And since it's Fisk, once he takes them all down, you know he's going to sign it. Crossbones, Taskmaster, Typhoid Mary, Shocker, Whiplash, Rhino, Kraven. Fisk has an army of supervillains at his command, and this is just his opening salvo. For years, Fisk has waited for his time to strike, and you won't believe the aces he's got up his sleeves. Devil's Reign spins out of Zdarsky's 2-year run on Daredevil, which came to a finale with issue number 36. There, Kingpin married Typhoid Mary after a courtship that had slowly been building over the course of Zdarsky's time on the book, and Matt Murdock wished Fisk well. Speaking with Elektra, Matt reasoned that if Mary could make him content, make him want for less, close the book on his greed.